Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back, everybody. There is a notion, a thought that, and I'm trying to remember exactly how this phrase goes, but energy flows where the attention goes. Energy flows where the attention goes, meaning that what you think becomes your reality. And I heard recently somebody say, this moment is a memory. This moment, it's already over. It already, it's in the past. Now is in the past because what's happening at this very moment for you, you already thought about it. You already planned it, whether you were intentional or not. It's already done. This moment's gone. It's over. We're going to talk about that, the energy flow, manifestation, and much more. And this is all a part of healing as well, helping us connect the dots and figure it all out. He is a life coach, specifically a spiritual and mental health coach. He helps many different ways, also with acupuncture, and definitely has a very strong grip on this thing that we call energy. He's Chris DiStefano. He's back with us. How are you doing today?
Doing great, thanks. How about you, Steve?
Good. Looking forward to getting some questions answered about this whole energy thing. And I want to start with a question regarding your intuition and manifesting. So before I do anything, I typically think about how it's going to go. So if I'm going to go to an event, a party, whatever it might be, I'll think in advance. All right, what's that going to be like? Let me see. What should I wear? What will be the vibe of people there? What kind of people will be there? What's the venue going to be like? I'll think about it, and then I'll go. And I have to tell you, 95% of the time, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just feel like I was prepared. Yeah, I got it. Or sometimes I think of it and I'm like, man, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. Should have stayed home. So I wonder, am I using my intuition to see it in advance, call it the third eye, or did I manifest it? Did I manifest it to be that way? But I got to believe other people are manifesting it a certain way, and it's not the same way I'm seeing it. So I wrestle with that, and I would love to hear your feedback on that.
It's all a matter of perspective. So first off, you're absolutely right. This moment has already happened by the time we process it. We're living in the past. So how do we get to live in the present? Through intention. So when you're going to that party, you're setting that intention beforehand that the party will be like this. You're putting yourself in a mindset and a vibration. So that's you're in a certain way, you're speaking with the director and the writer of this script that we're walking through. So you could say that you're manifesting it, or you could say that it's sending a vibe and you have a feeling in your heart. And so you're intuiting that that's how it's going to go. It's just two different ways of looking at the same event. It's really how much of a push are you putting on it? And in fact, the lighter the touch, the more powerful the action, the more powerful the manifestation.
How do you mean?
So if you want to get into the real nitty-gritty, Reality Transurfing has an incredible chapter 18, you can listen to it online, that describes manifestation in a technical way that I've never heard, because it really is a set of rules, but they're using the forces that we don't see or touch. It's a different chapter that does what's called excess importance. So let's say, you know how when we want something really badly, we push it away. If it's like, oh my God, if I don't get this, we push it away with that intensity.
Okay, I'm with you 100% on that. But
it's the moment that we let go of that intensity, all of a sudden it appears in our life because the excess importance is.
Is it also a process of we push it away because we come from a place of lack? So
exactly.
When's the job going to show up? I'm waiting, or when, whatever the perfect person in my life, when are they going to show up? I'm waiting forever. I'm worthy. I've done the work on myself. When are they going to show? By doing that, you're coming from a place of lack and or negativity. So now you're just pushing it away as opposed to they're showing up. They'll be here when they need to show up, and we're good. Yeah, I'll just do my life. Bing. They just walk through the door.
What we're and what we're dealing with is, the best way I can put it is left brain, right brain. So the rational, logical, verbal mind would be left brain. And that part of the brain is saying, I want this, I want that. And the manifestation side would be the right side of the brain. That would be the feminine. That's where everything comes from. The creative is on the masculine, and the feminine is going to be the origin of all
Mhm.
stuff, gives birth. So, in a way, it's kind of like courtship. If you go up to a person with that very strong approach, what do? They're like, oh my God. It's exactly the same type of energy. You go
Hmm.
up confident, present as something you are radiant and offering, that person will be attracted to you like a magnet. You go up pushing and explosive, you might get someone, maybe you could enter a beautiful pattern of codependency. I'm talking about a healthy, beautiful relationship. And in order
Yes.
to get that, we're coming from that completeness, from that love, from that dance. And
Mm.
that's sort of the touch. And the lighter the touch, the more powerful it is.
It almost, I mean, in this example of the perfect relationship that supports you, just a beautiful connection. Yeah, just to use a cliche, the guy that rolls up to the girl at the bar, hey baby, how you doing? Hitting every line in the, they
Yes.
could come up with, and she's like, hey, I'll buy you a drink. Come on, love your nails. Yeah, and right away she's like, oh my God, get me out of here. Who is this freak? As opposed to just being you and just maybe a smile and you pass by. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Otherwise, don't push it because it's not meant to happen.
Yeah. So it really, that came to me the other day, that it really is very similar to that type of to that courtship, because it is the name of it, the law of attraction,
Right.
not the law of going out, with a club and grab her by the hair and yank her back to your cave.
Right, right. And not to say there aren't any women that, guy rolls up and he, throwing every line and some may want that, but that might not be what supports you or even them. It's just, we all have things that we're dealing with. So that situation, now I'm jumping deeper into the rabbit hole here of manifestation, but it could be a situation where she likes that dominance because, maybe her father was that kind of person where he's very strong-willed and that feels comfortable. So she radiates with, Mr. Pickup line and but that might not be the best relationship for both of them.
Exactly. So for the healthiest, then that's it. At the healthiest levels, it's that soft touch,
Yeah. Yeah.
almost not touching at all.
Hmm. Hmm.
And there's a huge, very, very, probably the most powerful technique within the manifestation is setting the vibration of as if, of already having it,
Yes.
because the subconscious does not, there's a few simple rules. One of them is, you don't use the negatives. You don't say, I don't want to fail, because all the subconscious is going to process is fail. And it'll give you what you're asking for. It'll give you failure.
For sure.
It's also, and they don't explain it this way, this is from me, there's a directionality to the energy. So a negative is just an explosive away. There's not any oomph to it because you're not setting a goal. You're setting a run away from. So I don't want to fail versus I would like to be successful in fill in the blank. Then you can't do I would like, because you're pushing it away still. You're still creating the gap of I am and success. So then the stronger phrasing is I'm successful. It's on its way. It's all just waiting for me.
I
And
get it.
it's not that we're missing anything. It's more that we have a block to it coming to us. It's all consciousness.
I want to share with you, and I grabbed this. This is my vision board.
Yes.
Um, and I printed it out, and I'm kind of a graphical guy, so I wanted it to look, a certain way. However, I did take a Sharpie and I wrote these three words on it, and it addresses exactly what you just said. It is done.
It is done.
It is done. Already,
Yeah.
it's already, this is already materialized. Everything I'm thinking of, and this applies to everybody else. It hasn't shown up in my view yet, but it's here. Some say that everything you want is right there at your fingertips, just the edge, just right there.
Hmm.
And eventually, if you believe, it will come to you. I want to add one other, I just saw down here on my vision board one other thing. Two words I added, or better,
Or better. Yeah.
or better. Yeah.
I,
Appreciate all of that. Gratitude for all that comes my way. You want to give me better? Why not? Why
yeah.
not? Hmm.
It's always leave the door open
Right.
for
Right.
something. And when we get into that state of mind, see, there's something called shadow work. And I keep going back to this, and everyone has misunderstandings of it. And I'm just gonna go through a few of the major pitfalls because I got to live in each of them for way too long. One of them is the nonsense in the spiritual world that we are not the body. That's a semi-true statement, but the body is my home in this scenario, in this movie.
Can you clarify that a little bit more?
Yeah. So a lot of the spiritual community, and this is a form of bypassing, and it's a subtlety because I am more than my physical body is something used a lot at Monroe Institute. That's a true statement. The body is part of who we are. But the body, no matter what, even if you're doing out of body experiences, astral travel, whatever you're doing, is always going to be your home base. You see, they like to talk about transcending the body. We can transcend in consciousness, we can transcend a lot of physical limitations. Ultimately, the body is a subset of our consciousness. But this body is my home base. It's not your home base. The consciousness of Steve does not live here and never will. And so being able to work with the body, opening up the energy channels, connecting to them, that's something, and this is, I love reality transurfing because it's the most powerful system I've found. And the more powerfully we open up our meridians, the more powerfully energy can flow through our body. And that involves having a level of physical activity and fitness, bringing ourselves into a healthy body. The body is the
Hmm.
temple, makes it work better. So if we push away, denigrate, and say, oh, it's just a car that I throw away when I'm done with the ride, is sort of ignoring the gift. And it is a gift. Um, so being able to, and that's where the meditation, that's where self-care. So I saw a guy yesterday. I saw quite a few very interesting people yesterday. And he comes in for acupuncture, back pain, this and that and the other thing. This guy, he had gone to work during medical emergency. The dude, he's living in pain. And I asked him, when's the last time you took care of yourself? Would you want to see your kids live like this? Are you honoring yourself? Are you loving yourself? Is this the life? Because you're showing your kids, is this the life you want them to follow? And it hit him really hard because his subconscious, his self, his being is trying to tell him, please stop. Please change path. And I honestly believe that's why he was brought into my office,
Hmm.
because obviously no one told him that for the past couple decades. And just, he's like, I have so much to process. And his back felt a lot better. Don't get me wrong. But he's like, I have so much to process. Now, here's the thing, when we're in that mindset, we're not going to manifest. We are so blocked and we have so many false beliefs and negative thoughts. You sit there and manifest all day, and you know what happens? What happened to me? You get the opposite of what you want because I'm at war with myself. When I get to be at peace with myself, when I'm at peace with myself and having love with myself, then it all flows. Now we're in the dance versus the battle.
Hmm.
So that, you want to talk about the hitch, you want to talk about the failure, because I think the failures are the most important part for most people. And I've had a very hard time nailing down a lot of them. But the failures are, you do this, oh, just keep repeating the mantra. Guess what? That mantra has to be true. If you don't believe it, it becomes very physically uncomfortable and mentally, it's because our body doesn't like to hold lies. So if we keep saying, and the body is reflective of the consciousnesses dancing with each other because the body holds both.
And it's comfortable to keep telling yourself a lie because there's a reason you're telling yourself that based on your past, maybe the way you grew up and such. You said the word, I was thinking it, you said it almost at the moment I was thinking it, flow. Everything's got to be flowing for manifestation to work perfectly. And like you said, you have to take care of the body. So, quick questions. Are you, Chris DiStefano, a spiritual energy in a human container?
I'm living the story of Chris in this body. So yes, but the whole that's the beauty of this because I'm also everything I experience on the outside. It's all me, but that part is dynamic. This part's relatively static. Inner and outer are all my consciousness. That's a deeper dive. But if you want to manifest, you have to understand inner and outer are all my consciousness because the outer comes to me.
You didn't exactly answer the question.
I thought I did, but what
No,
part
okay.
was
Well,
I?
maybe for clarity. Um, are you a spiritual energy? And
Mhm.
this is just a human container. It's a, call it temporary, if you will. Unfortunately, it expires just like the car. And then maybe that, and some believe the energy will move on to, let's say, another life. Um,
Oh, now I'll answer.
okay.
This is the embodiment of my consciousness in this plane. This body is
At
the
this time, at this
at
time.
this time.
Okay.
I believe that whatever happens next is like waking up from a dream. My consciousness shifts from one form into another. It is immortal. It is timeless. It is that fragment of divinity that is pure and untouched, that each of us is a unique signature.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. And I believe the same thing. And I had this epiphany 2 or 3 years ago. I was in my garage just staring out. I don't know what it was. It was kind of rainy. I wanted to read a book. I had to go to work as well. And I was just staring out and I'm looking at trees. I'm like, well, I could really be anywhere. At this point in my life, I could be up in the mountains somewhere. I could be and it'd be okay. And then it kind of hit me that we're a spiritual energy. This is a human container. And to your point before about taking care of yourself, I view it this way. You have a car payment, or you paid a lot for it, you had to work for it. Why wouldn't you take care of it? Because I believe it takes care of you. Before we run out of time, I want to go back to something you said a few moments ago when we talked about this moment is really now a memory. Everything, these moments, we already thought of them. We created this moment. It was already done, whether we realize it or not.
Mhm.
If that's the case, which I'm believing it is after hearing that statement, and you believe manifestation, how do you truly live in the present?
I am so glad you asked because I've actually, that's what I've been working on for the past couple of weeks. See, I understand it all comes from love. Love is what's underneath everything. If you don't believe that, go watch the movie Interstellar a couple of times.
Love,
Um,
love is the highest vibration.
love is yes, it's creation. So, um, it all comes from love. And once I'm able to trust my world, knowing that my world is a reflection of myself as well as God in form, and it is reactive, active, and supportive of me, then my actions and decisions get farther and farther into flow because I'm trusting as things happen and not reacting through NPC mode where I'm just running the programs I was conditioned to, but engaging at the heart level in spontaneous. So it becomes a spontaneous dance. Now that opens the door for the manifestations to start coming into life because now we are dancing with our reality.
Would you say that if you want to be at that point and live truly in the moment, everything you should do should be done with love. It should be done with that intention.
It should. And it should also be done with an openness. So let's say you decide to insult my shirt and it hurts my feelings. I might tell you to go pound sand. But as long as that's coming from authenticity, that's the right thing. I can't be like, oh, I'm all love and light and I don't care this to you. No, I will respond in the authentic way, but I will not hold on to that energy. And that, because a lot of people
Mm.
want to put this on a pedestal of behavior, that pretending to be a saint will push you farther away because now you're not yourself anymore.
So if you are going to be, whoa, we're digging deep here. If you are going to be authentic, which you identified that that's the way we should live, right? Especially for best outcome and manifestation.
Yeah.
If I commented on your shirt,
Mhm.
and you replied with your true feelings,
Yeah.
if you did tell me to pound salt or whatever it is, and it was negative in which you
Yes.
fired back at me,
Mhm.
um, is that bad to be quote unquote negative? Would that be negative, or is that just being authentic? And how do you identify each?
I was speaking with a couple of coaches about this yesterday, and like my style is very direct. Some people are more obtuse, and it more matches how their personalities are. I'm very supportive with the directness. So what I say is going to be very different from from what another person says, but it's
Sure.
with me being in flow. And it's hard to describe, but a lot like, and you know this, I've already said this, we don't discuss what we're going to discuss. It's all spontaneous. It's all coming from that place of just openness and truth. Same
Hmm.
with how I respond or how I'll engage in other conversation. It's not about hurting a person. It's about expressing truth and then
Okay,
being
so on
present.
that point, let's say, all right, I'm going to give you an example. Here we go.
Mhm.
Going to keep it. I'm going to laser it down. Um, I'm belong to a group, and we're doing a charity event on Sunday, and it's all great. It's wonderful. Totally aligned with it. So I go to check my calendar, and it automatically populated my calendar, and I click it, and it's not working. Okay, there was another entry. I click that one. It gives a location. Okay. My intuition told me double check the location. Let's just double check that. So I did check with the group. Well, where the event is not in that location.
Mhm.
They're completely different. I would have showed up. And again, that's on my calendar that they sent out. It populated automatically. And I was like, what the blank? Like, and part of me is like, speak up and say, we got to get this right here. This is ridiculous. You need clarity. People are dedicating their time. Let's do this right. And part of me is like, whatever. Just, you got the info. It's verified. Go. But a part of me is like, what's up with that? Come on. We can do better than that. And I'm on the fence as whether to, elevate that and throw that out there because that's my truth. Well, wrong. It's got to be right. Or let it go. Should I speak my truth?
My answer is always going to be yes. Otherwise, you're going to hold it in your body.
That's what I was thinking. Because if you don't let the energy go, and there's two ways to do it. You could do it like we said before with love. Hey, I think we need to make an adjustment here, and have clarity for these situations. Or the flip side, what the blah, 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 WTF, blah, 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 and come from a place of nastiness and negativity. I wouldn't do that, but I'm just illustrating two things why take, as mom would say, she always said, take the high road. So take the high road, but speak your truth, but speak your truth.
That's one of those situations. You don't speak up. Now you got however many people showing up in the wrong place. Why? Because you were afraid to you're it's a beautiful thing. There's so many things to learn from this. Number one, you learn to calibrate your intuition. You're like, hey, you know what? I got a feeling. I'm going to look at this again and make
Oh
sure
my
this.
gosh.
So
It was screaming, wait a minute, wait. And it was perfectly legit. Like I clicked it, it came up, location, time, and everything. I
yeah.
don't know what it was. It told me to check, double check.
So this is an amazing way to build your trust in yourself. And then it's a great way to be of service, because how many people are you going to save from going to wherever they're going to be headed because you did this, because you took this step? Now you're providing service to the group.
Mm. I have to go send an email.
Yes, you did.
Chris, wonderful talking with you. I know that we go deep. To me, it's not really that deep. To others, I can see that, this is how do I figure this out? But you figure it out by talking about it and expressing. And I see more clarity here in terms of
Yeah.
manifesting energy and how this all works. You help many in many different ways, from acupuncture to coaching, unraveling this energy thing. How do we find you? How do we connect with you?
Level3coaching.org. That's all spelled out. And scarsdalehealth.com. Either one of those, you can find me. And also YouTube, you could just look me up. And if you have any comments, questions, whatever, let me know. I'm happy to answer.
Always love talking with you. It's refreshing. It's validation. It's awakening. That's the word. It's an awakening. And looking forward next time we get together.
Thank you, Steve.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.